going on, MMA fans? I'm back to do my MMA Corner number 25 video, sponsored by Revolt Renegade Clothing. Make sure you check out their clothes. They not only sponsor MMA, but they do BMX, extreme sports, stuff like that. Like I always say, support the people who support MMA, and by supporting those people, you do support MMA by buying clothes. So, thanks, Revolt, for sponsoring me. Gonna go over some topics that were sent to me. Just real quick, if I do not get to your topic on this video, do not be discouraged. I did not forget your topic, I just couldn't fit it into this video. So, as always, the purpose of this video is for me to connect to you guys, my watchers, my subscribers. If you have a topic that you want me to cover, email it to me, actually message it to me through YouTube, and I will get to that and also put up on there in the subject line MMA Corner, and I will make sure to include that in an upcoming MMA Corner video. So, first topic was from HellDog6. What is a hardcore MMA fan? This is a good topic, and the reason I picked this one out was there's really no clear-cut definition of that. I think everyone has a differing definition of what constitutes a hardcore MMA fan. Some of those definitions I don't agree with, so I'm going to give what I think it is, but again, this is not the clear-cut definition. Everyone has differing, views on this, but I think it's someone that follows, all of the MMA promotions, the UFC, Strikeforce, Adrenaline, Bellator, Dream, Affliction, Cage Rage, someone that has, watched or is watching, other promotions, that understands the sport, that has some knowledge about the sport. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, to be a hardcore MMA fan. That's something I don't agree with. But, as time progresses, you end up just gaining so much knowledge from watching it. Perfect example, Jeremy, the old MMA analyst, was just absolutely unreal with the knowledge that he had, from watching MMA back in the early 2001. There's sometimes I talk to Milner Harm Park, and he knows who he is, about Japanese MMA. While I have a good knowledge of that spectrum, there's times where I have to ask him questions. But, there really is no clear-cut definition to a hardcore MMA fan. I think that, to me, it's someone that follows the sport religiously. They know what's going on. They understand the sport. They follow other promotions. I think that's what a hardcore MMA fan is to me. Thanks for the topic. Metal Dude Buff 92 wanted me to talk about who is next for Anderson Silva. I think it's it's probably going to be the winner of Demian Maia, Nate Marquardt. I don't think Dan Henderson's going to get the title shot. Although I'd love to see that fight, and I think that is the most compelling fight out of those three guys, to me at least, because we've seen Nate Marquardt already fight. He didn't do so well. Dan Henderson has been the guy so far that has done the best against Anderson Silva. And Demian Maia doesn't possess, the striking that I think is required to get inside and get Anderson Silva down to the ground. So that's how I look at it. But I think it's going to be the winner of Demian Maia and Nate Marquardt. So thanks for the topic. DragonStyle619, and also, by the way, he does great videos here on YouTube. His YouTube channel, it's Check Hook Boxing is what he calls it. What do I think of Tim Sylvia? Is his career over? Tim Sylvia is really at a crossroads. He got knocked out by Ray Mercer. He's been on a downward spiral. He didn't look very impressive against Brandon Vera. He lost to Nogueira. And now he's fighting Paul Buentello, which that might potentially be a very bad fight for him. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I think he's still going to get some fights. Will it be, prime time, or will it be, him being on a main card, or him being back in the UFC? I don't think so. I think you're going to see him in some smaller promotions. I think that's how it's going to play out for him. So, you could see him retiring here soon. It could be, very well after this next fight with Buentello, but I think he still has a couple fights left in him. Thanks for the topic, man. Nick 2323232323 wanted me to talk about, will Wanderlei Silva ever get any easy fights, or is he going to continue to get marquee matchups and super fights since his career is almost over? I think that's kind of what they're doing with him as far as some of these super fights. I think these are some fights they can put on. They know that it's marketable. They know that Wanderlei has gained some fans since he's come over here. And they know that that can get some pay-per-view buys. Honestly, he might get an easier fight here coming up. We'll have to see who they're going to give him at 185. it very well could be a Michael Bisping, maybe a Drew McFedries. Who knows who they're going to give him at that weight class? But I don't think they're going to, feed him to the wolves automatically at 185. I think he's going to get a little bit of an easier matchup to begin with, and then he's going to work his way up. So that's how I look at that. Thanks for the topic, man. Fair UFC guy wanted me to talk about a heavyweight that Dana could bring in that could bolster the UFC heavyweight division. There's no real solid, to me, heavyweights that stick out that are free agents. I mean, you could bring in like a Roy Nelson. That would be an interesting guy to bring in. And I'm trying to remember, Roy Nelson, he's on the Ultimate Fighter coming up. So that already answers that question. If he wins the Ultimate Fighter, he'll have it shot. But I think the three guys that you really got to look at, and they're not free agents right now, but Alistair Overeem, who's now fighting with Strikeforce, he was away from them for a while, then ended up coming back and working out his contractual obligations with them to defend his heavyweight championship. Fedor Emelianenko, which could very well happen after the Affliction, his last contracted fight with Affliction, which it's, the talks have been, there's been rumors floating around that Dana is trying to get him signed after that fight, so we'll have to see how that plays out. And then even Josh Barnett. Any three of these guys are top, all three of these guys are top 5 heavyweights in the world and would definitely bolster that division. Bringing Crocott back, and of course, does help a little bit, even though he isn't what he was back in 2005. But nonetheless, I think those are the three guys that stick out to me. So thanks for the topic, man. As always, like I said, this video segment is intended for me to connect to you guys. Send in your topics, suggestions, questions, things you want me to cover. Like I said, message them to me, and then up at the top, put MMA Corner as the subject line. I will be back in 2 weeks to do my next MMA Corner segment. And on that note, you guys, have a great day.